Today, I want to talk to you guys about another ingredient that is in a lot of everyday household products, and that is a product called formaldehyde. Now, it doesn't roll off the tongue very easily. It's one of those very incestuous additives that's in our products, and this is why I want to do a video for you guys today, just to share a bit of the science and information behind it so you can be, like they say, forewarned is forearmed, and then the decision is up to you guys about whether you choose to have these products in your life. So let's take the deep dive into the inner bowels and workings of some of these products that end up in and on our bodies every single day of our lives. So, for those of you that are new here, I'm Nicola Brunton. Freedom from the Desk is my podcast and YouTube channel. And while I'm a small business owner, Freedom from the Desk for me is a vehicle to educate people around mindset, health, and wellness. So, it's very much a holistic approach to life, work, and our health. And I love to share what I've learned along the way around my health journey, ingredients, and mindset, and just things that help us out in everyday life. So let's get stuck into today's episode. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be talking today about a compound element, scientific creation from man. God knows when it was created, I do not know, called formaldehyde. Now, that's pronounced phonetically formaldehyde, and it's not to be confused with the little amide. Now, that was the morning after pill, I think it was, in the 50s and 60s, that was discovered to cause, sadly, defects in children and when people, when women had babies. We're not going to be talking about that one today. We're going to be talking about formaldehyde. So this is something that turns up very commonly in a lot of products and that are in our houses and in our homes, and we are putting primarily probably on our body. It's not something we consume, but it is being absorbed through our skin and things that we use to wash our hair and our hands and things like that, but we're going to get into that. So first and foremost, what is formaldehyde? Well, it's a chemical. In its simplest terms, it's a chemical compound, right? It's colourless, it has a strong smell in its natural form, and it's used to essentially and fundamentally preserve and stabilise products. Now, what that means to the average Joe Blow is quite inconsequential. We really don't care what makes our products feel good to the touch, that lovely feeling that you have between your fingers, but a lot of these things that are actually put into our products, into our shampoos and into our conditioners, into our soaps, makeup, skincare, these nasties that we're going to be talking about, and particularly this one today, formaldehyde, is one that shouldn't, in my mind, be in products. And there are products out there that specifically say that it doesn't have it in their products. And sadly, it's not openly shared. Now, I don't want this to be about sort of scaremongering, for want of a better term. It's not the information is hidden. I believe it is hidden a little bit, like a lot of manufacturers should be more open and transparent about what is in their products. But it's just presented in such a way that everyday people, like you and I, need to be Sherlock Holmes to unlock this information and find out about it. So that's what I'm here for. This is my passion. This is what I love doing, is I love talking about these ingredients that really fundamentally should not be in our products, I believe. And if I reach one person, then I've achieved something. I've done a good thing in my mind. So if there's any part of this video that you'd like to know more about, please let me know. Please comment below. And yeah, it's all about raising awareness. So we've talked about what it is in its simplest terms. Colourless, has a strong smell, and it's used to preserve and stabilise products. The product that's been manufactured by man is purely been done from a standpoint of making a product that they're manufacturing more marketable because it's got a longer shelf life and it's more stable as far as they're concerned. So once you start moving away from something that's natural, as we know, it's not going to last as long. It's not going to last as long in the fridge or on the shelf because it may get moldy or it may become contaminated, and we don't want that. But we also don't want these nasty things in our products that are being put onto our bodies every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. So why do they add it, and what sort of things are they actually adding it to? So I suppose the easiest way to discuss what they're adding it to is just list a couple of things for you. So formaldehyde can be found in everyday items like shampoo, conditioners, body washes, skincare, nail products. That's just personal care. And then we go on to household products. So that's some cleaning sprays, quite common in dishwashing liquids, laundry products, air fresheners. And then around the home. So furniture, especially sort of pressed wood, glues and adhesives, fabrics, and coatings. So the reality is that formaldehyde actually is being exposed to us in multiple facets, probably throughout the day. You could be walking on it and you don't know it. So, but a lot of the time, and this is probably the thing that really irks me, it's not listed on a lot of particularly household cleaning products. So you might see, so there's a particular product that I want to talk about today that's actually got it. It's actually got it listed as one of the ingredients, but it's not listed on the back of the packaging of this particular product. It's actually listed on websites that sell it, like a supermarket, Woolworths and Coles actually have the ingredients listed. And it's not listed as formaldehyde, it's listed as one of its other names. Now I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So that's the thing that really probably irks me the most is the lack of transparency. So it says on the back of the dishwash, and this is Morning Fresh by Cussons, the very common dishwash that a lot of household and Aussies use, including me. I've used it in the past, I don't anymore. And if you look at the back of the bottle, there's this huge bit of real estate, nice bit of white space, so great marketing terms, and it says ingredients, please see our website. And it's like, who in their right mind is going to Google the ingredients of this when they want to find out what's in it at a glance? And the average person, they won't. It's that simple because we're lazy as humans and it's easier just not to. That's the simple fact of life. But this is where I do all the heavy lifting for you. I've gone away and looked at it, and just as an aside, it was completely impossible to actually find an ingredients list on the Cussons website. That's the maker of Morning Fresh. So I actually found it via a couple of other websites, via Chemist Warehouse, and also I think it was Woolworths actually had the listed ingredients. While I was doing the research for this, I did some deep dive into whether there had been any litigation, so court cases around this particular chemical in the past. And there was. There was some very big court cases in regards to non-disclosure of the fact that certain products had formaldehyde in it. So they weren't publicly disclosing that it was actually in the product. And one of them was a very big hair product manufacturing, well-known hair and hairdressing brand. And another one was a building company for supplying laminate flooring that from China into the building industry, and they hadn't disclosed that it actually had formaldehyde in it. So we're talking 20, 30, $40 million worth of damages paid out in court cases. So I think that's another really important thing to consider as well. You know, I'm not just trying to throw these companies under the bus not by any stretch of the imagination. I understand that this is a marketing thing and also they want the products to last for the customer. But at the end of the day, they do need to be honest and transparent about what they use in their products. So this is where it gets into a little bit of a grey area, for want of a better term, in that it's known by a lot of different names. And I'll probably butcher these, but I can't even pretend to pronounce them properly. So formaldehyde, you'll generally not see that on a label because it goes by other names, and the most common one that you will see is DMDM hydination. So that's capital D, capital M, capital D, capital M, and then hydination. That's the most common one that you will see in ingredients, and probably more around cleaning products like your dishwash and things like that. And that's what's listed on the Morning Fresh ingredients. And then you've got four other names as well. And you've got imidazole urea, diazolindiurea, quinacerium 15. And just as an aside, any cosmetics or skincare or makeup or anything like that, any body products will generally always use a number. It's just an ingredients labeling thing. I don't know how and why or whoever came up with it. But if you see something with a lot of numbers in it, sometimes those can be the products that you should, the ingredients that you should be sort of steering clear of. And the last one is bronanopol. So, yeah, I don't expect you guys to remember all of those. I will list them in the description down below, just as a little bit of a reference for you. But I suppose the big one to take away is DMDM hydination. That's the one that probably formaldehyde is labelled as the most. Now, the other thing is that there's two things that you may see formaldehyde split into. So that's formaldehyde, the name, and then you've got formaldehyde-releasing preservatives. Now, when I sort of wanted to find out the best way to explain this to you guys was think of formaldehyde as the water in the glass, right? And formaldehyde-releasing preservatives as the drip that's coming out of the glass if you're pouring it out really slowly. So it's the same product, it's just being released a lot more slowly into a product. That's the best way I can think of describing it to you guys. So if you ever see something that says formaldehyde releasing preservatives, as I like to say, same mother, different father, right? It's the same product, it's just being delivered a slightly different way. Now, the thing I think that I would just want to empower people to do is think about the fact that, a lot of feedback that I get and a lot of people that I talk to, they say, oh, it's such a tiny amount, it's not going to make any difference to my, when they love a product, when they're in love with a product because it feels or it smells or beautiful way, or it's got a lovely sensation on the body. I get that. I understand that. I've got products that I've loved in the past that really give you that sense of, luxury and things like that. But you've got to think about it from the point of view that you are literally exposing yourself constantly, sometimes multiple touch points throughout the day with this harmful product, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, year out, decade in, decade out. I've spoken to some people that you've used the same product for literally decades, okay, because they love it and it's a habit. And again, I understand that. But when you're talking about a product that is harmful, and we're going to speak to the harmful effects of this particular product in a minute, is that you've got to look at the cumulative effects, or the thing I bang on about a lot is the compound effect of a product. So if you're consuming or putting something on your body regularly, even with the smallest amounts, 1% or half of 1%, 4 or 5 times a day, or twice a day for 5 days a week, 7 days a week, 3 times a week. It's that continuity that you're exposing your body to. And people wonder why we get sick as we get older, because that all these chemicals that we're putting into our bodies, unknowingly a lot of the time, are just sitting there collecting and collecting and collecting and collecting, and then morphing into this thing that the body doesn't know how to process because it doesn't naturally belong there. And then we get sick because of the long-term harmful effects of this thing. So don't think about something in a really small dose. Think about it from a cumulative point of view, that it's slowly just adding up, eking away at your natural body system. And the body eventually gets to the point where it goes, I can't process this anymore. And sometimes the damage has been done. So different countries allow different forms of this compound, all this chemical, right? So some restrict it absolutely, totally in their products. Some allow low levels, and some allow formaldehyde releasing preservatives, but with conditions. Now, that's a topic for another day. All I want to share with you is that there are some countries, and mainly a lot of European countries, that ban this product and ban the use of this chemical in their products. So there's a lot of research that can be done here, and I do have a cheat sheet available for you guys. And again, I will link this down in the description. It's like the top 20 or 30, I think, products that are kind of most dangerous. And these are colours and numbers and things like that, and common additives that are in our food and our cosmetics and skincare, and a list of where it's actually banned, or if it's banned in countries around the world. And sadly, in Australia and New Zealand, a lot of these products that are banned in European countries, because they're trying to do the best to look after their citizens and their people, are actually allowed here in Australia and New Zealand. Don't ask me why. I think they just haven't caught up with the Joneses. So I will let you guys have access to that. It's completely free. It's just a PDF that I've created, and I try to keep it updated as regularly as possible. So I've done the last update this year in the beginning of 2026. And the other thing I forgot to mention, sorry, is that it is actually a cancer-causing agent. There are research that has been done that have proven that formaldehyde is a cancer-causing agent, so a carcinogenic. So I think the easiest thing I can do is suggest to you is that I just want people to become aware. I want you to spend the extra couple of minutes, if you're looking at a product, thinking about what's actually in it. And if there's a list as long as your arm and you don't recognize or can't pronounce the products, can't pronounce the ingredients inside your product, then question that. Look at replacing something with a better product. Look above and beyond the eye level at the supermarket. It's probably the best bit of free advice I could give you. It's what they call above the fold marketing. So the bit that you see, the shelf that you can actually kind of see in your eye line, that's the most targeted, that's the most promoted, and probably, in all honesty, not the best products for you. So they're the ones that the drug dealers are pushing, if you want a parallel. So if you want to look at some products that may be a slightly better product, I'm not saying they will be, absolutely, but at least take the time to look. Look at the ones above the eye line and look at the ones below the eye line. So I found some really wonderful, beautiful natural soaps that, you know, outside the norm of the shopping site line. And of course, there are other things available online that may be slightly more expensive, and there are shopping clubs and things that you can join that have a lot of really nasty free additives. And yeah, and then they follow the guidelines also of the European countries as well. But if you guys want to know anything about that, please let me know, and I'm happy to share information for better products for you. So I think, yeah, to close off today, I encourage you guys to become a label reader, as boring as that is. Maybe question the ingredients that are on there if you don't understand them. And look at swapping out one product or a couple of products in your shopping if you can, if you're in a position to. And start noticing what's actually in our products that could be doing us some long-term harm. And look out for the names that I've mentioned. As I said, I will list them for you guys. Just choose a simpler formulation when it comes to our products. And again, I want to reiterate this. These videos that I'm sharing about what's in our products aren't about fear, not at all. I want you guys to understand a little bit more, and hopefully in a way that's delivered that's easier to digest and understand, not too sciencey, not too over the top. And just really, I really implore to you that this isn't about fear, this is about education. And this is what I'm passionate about doing. So if there's anything that you find that you want to know more about, then please let me know, comment below, and I'll happily go away and do the research for you guys, go down the rabbit hole and see what I can find out. But I will be sharing more of these ingredients, if you can call them that, these chemicals that are lurking in our products, because I've found a better way and I've found better products through a lot of trial and error. And yeah, I will be openly sharing about products that exist in our society that just simply shouldn't be there. We shouldn't be putting them into our bodies, and scarily so, we shouldn't be putting them into children's bodies because obviously they're a lot smaller and they affect a lot more quickly, and then problems and diseases and things like that will appear earlier with people if they're consuming and having these products, being exposed to these products. I'm going to finish off. I hope this has been educational. I hope you've learned something. And till next time, have an absolutely awesome day.